Hello, how's it going, everybody? What is happening this fine week? Are you doing well? It's the RambleCast. It is September 8th. I'm starting late. You guys know how it goes. Well, so unfortunately, Corbin won't be joining us this week. It is little old me, all by myself. Let's see. So, I have a few oddball things I'll talk about at some point along the way. The quick the quick little detail about why I actually started. Well, there were several reasons why I started late, all collaborating together. The biggest was, and if you check AP, it just got posted a little while ago. The OM5 by DJI. This is their smartphone gimbal. We were left off of the mailing list for embargoed information, so I didn't get a chance to write it up earlier. And when I saw that it was on our list, it's like, oh, hey, let's get that covered. So I'm a little curious why we got left off the list. I think it was a genuine accident, because as soon as I emailed, I got the oh yeah, we definitely have review units for you, and it's like, oh, okay. Great. Cool. Well, hopefully we're on the list for next time. So yeah, anyway, I will be reviewing the OM5 when it shows up. And hopefully I've got some ideas I want to do for that review. Moving the fan and hopefully getting a little bit of the cool air on me. By the way, it will not be the longest of shows because it is a hot freaking day. Actually, what is the weather currently? It says 82. I think that's wrong. Okay, well, Google... Damn it. Did I just... No. I didn't... How did I not trigger anything with that? So, according to the Big G's search, it's 84 currently, and it's only going to be a high of 87 now? What's the air quality? Be good if I could spell air quality. Air quality shouldn't be so bad that smoke is a factor. I don't know what's going on. Well, we'll just count ourselves lucky that it may not actually be the hottest day that it was expected to be. It's still the hottest day this week. It's still supposed to hit 87, which I imagine is going to be in like, what, 2 hours-ish? Something like that. Hour, 2 hours, whatever. So this office will get pretty warm. I am going to have to check out at some point, but we'll probably make it about 2.5 hours in the process. Anyway, so let's see. I also got some... I know nobody else is going to care about this, but while we give a little more time for people to join, I am a little disappointed because I found out one of my favorite PR people is leaving. Let's see, is it really going to matter? I don't think it's going to matter that I say this, but one of my favorite PR people is leaving DJI. So I'm a little sad about that, because just like when we did pre-briefs and stuff like that, she was just a really upbeat, really fun person to talk to. So and she had a tendency to kind of goof up a little bit, like not bad goof ups, but she would get caught up in her notes and like lose her spot. It was funny. Anyway, so yeah, she's moving on to somewhere else. I don't know the details, but yeah, so hopefully we get to work together with wherever she's going next. Let's see, what else is happening? Okay, so I got a call last night from one of my best friends. This will get into another fun little story. Actually, this call brings up a few interesting things. I'll start with the first one, which is I decided to for the sake of my review of the Razer Hammerhead earbuds, I used those for the call. Now, this revealed some interesting things. The first of which is apparently the mic on my Pixel 3, she does not really like. So she was actually a huge fan of the Razer earbuds for call quality. She said she heard me better than she's ever heard me on a phone call, which was pretty pretty impressive. And I also stumbled onto a fun little bug. At least I think it's a bug. I could see there being the possibility of a feature here. In fact, I actually kind of wish this was a feature you could intentionally turn on. But I'm pretty sure it's not intentional. So there's this feature with Razer. Well, honestly, I think almost every true wireless earbuds have this these days. If they seal in the ear, they typically block out a lot of sound. Even if they don't have active noise canceling, they usually block out some amount of sound that you would normally get from the real world. So most of them have some sort of a feature where you hold or press or do something for a few seconds, and it doesn't just turn off ANC, it actually kind of reverses it. It gives you an amplified version of what the earbuds hear. Well, as it turns out, the current software or firmware for the Razer True Wireless earbuds, if you turn on that mode that's kind of like a reverse ANC, instead of giving you the real world sounds, it pipes them into the phone call. So as I'm walking around outside last night at like 1 a.m. with crickets loud as can be, so loud that I can hear them through the earbuds, I thought, I wonder what it'd be like if I turn on ANC right now. Would I just totally drown out the crickets while I'm talking to her? So I turn it on, and I hear the little chime, and I don't notice any change in the cricket sounds. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's weird. And my friend, she ends up saying, what the hell is that? At first she thinks it's feedback or something like that. Then she goes, no, I hear crickets, like super loud. They're as loud as you. Why are the crickets so loud? Evidently, I don't know what's up with this. I'm gonna have to look into it and make sure it's not like an intentional thing. I can't see why it would be, but yeah, I'm really curious about this. It's a bug I've never heard of happening in any other earbuds. It will make it into the review as kind of a cute story, maybe. I think we'll see, but yeah. I will. I'm also gonna let Razer know and just be like, hey, chances are you probably want to or need to fix this, but just letting you know. And that way I can also find out if it actually is just a bug, and it's something that I'll note as like, hey, this happened to me while I was using them, but they've already confirmed they're going to fix it, that kind of thing. Let's see. So what else do we have going on? Oh, also during that call, she brought up a fun little detail that, well, okay, so a little bit of backstory. She is what I would consider kind of a normal. She's not like a tech enthusiast per se, but she kind of has her moments here and there. And the reason I bring this up is because she's also an owner of a Pixel phone. She bought, I believe it's the Pixel 3. Prior to that, I could be wrong, but I think she may have had a Pixel 1. If she didn't have a Pixel 1, she might have just come from a Samsung phone straight into a Pixel 3. Whatever the case may be. And her boyfriend, she actually got him onto the Pixel. And this was back with the original Pixel. Because I know she was interested in it at that time, but maybe she didn't need a phone upgrade. The details are foggy now. It's been enough years. But she calls me up, or while we're talking last night, she tells me that while they were on like a trip or a vacation or something like that, his phone was acting up. So she made a point of getting him a new Pixel, and he was still on the original Pixel. So you can imagine how long or how long he's obviously had this phone. And while using the new Pixel, or sorry, while they were on this trip, his old phone, I guess, was like bugging out really bad. It's had some weird glitches and problems for a while. So she got him a new Pixel, and as far as I can tell from her description, though she wasn't quite sure, it sounds like the Pixel 5. She even knew it wasn't that great of a Pixel, which I thought was interesting. I don't know where she learned this from or how she found this out, but she did know. And while we were talking, she also brought up that she's about to replace her phone, but she wants to wait until the next Pixel comes out. At which point she then says that she's been researching it for a while, kind of like going full nerd, looking it up. She's found all the leaks, she's looked at all these details, and she tells me like she wants me to tell her about it. And as I'm telling her things, she's confirming like she's read all of it. She doesn't necessarily care about some of the same stuff, so she glossed over certain details. Funny enough, here are the two things she doesn't care about: the camera and the processor. the two things that make that, or that are probably the most interesting things about the Pixel 6, and that's what she kind of just ignored. But anyway, so she is planning on getting it. She's very aware of the leaked release dates. She's seen the design, which she didn't comment on. I brought it up a couple of times. I didn't really ask her for comments, but yeah, she didn't really have much to say on that. And I know she typically puts her phone in a case, so I don't think it's going to matter. But yeah, anyway, she wanted to make sure she was getting like the best Pixel that she could get, kind of thing. And she's not in a dire rush to get onto it. So yeah, she wants to wait, which I thought was neat. And again, both of these people are just absolute normals. They typically are not like phone fanatics. They aren't enthusiasts in any particular tech. So I still find it interesting that they actually got onto Pixels entirely on their own without me telling them about Pixels in the first place. Granted, once they found the Pixels, they did ask me. Like, they did come to me and say, hey, like, is this a thing that we should get into? And I'm like, yeah, you know, there are a few trade-offs here and there. They're good phones. They're not necessarily the best for everybody. And I mentioned like software stuff, and she in particular was really, really unhappy with the Samsung experience that she had. It not like hateful, but there were issues. She honestly just did not like. I think she didn't like the amount of features. I could be wrong. I'm not really sure, but anyway, it was interesting. Interesting to me. Also, this is the same person I mentioned in Discord last night or this morning. I guess it was this morning when I asked about music, because she does have this whole thing about it, like when we talk, she doesn't fall asleep on the phone with me, but she says my voice puts her to sleep. And not in the way of like being bored, but in the way it's like calming to her, which yay, I think. It has been joked a few times that I should do like dramatic readings of stuff, like just do the guy that does Binging with Babish, Andrew Ray, he has done a couple of these where he just like reads short stories or books or whatever and just records his voice. And everybody, I guess it has drawn like a lot of attention as just being this soothing, calming thing to hear. I don't know. I might kick around that idea for laughs. Let's see. Anyway, so that's kind of the catch up with random oddball topics. By the way, as far as topics go, I have some Android 12 stuff pulled up. I don't really know that I have much else besides that. So if anyone has something they'd like to throw into the mix, let me know. With that, I fully admit I haven't actually read through most of this stuff. I've kind of glanced at the titles, a few of the pictures, but I did not actually fully prepare on these topics. So don't yell at me too harshly for having no clue what the hell I'm about to talk about. But before we break into any particular coverage of these features, I figured I'd actually start with the official blog post, because you never know, Google might have actually said something of substance in this. Sometimes it happens. It has been known to happen. So let's see. As we know, of course, this is the final beta. Oops. Don't do that. There we go. This is the final beta before the final release. So this is the here goes nothing kind of thing. All right, let's see. We've got the couple of notes about the phone. Today's update includes release candidate build of Android 12 for the Pixel and other devices and the Android emulator. We reached platform stability at beta 4. Really? That seems weird. I would have thought that they would have done that on beta 2 or 3, but okay. I wonder if that was, I guess that was part of the original roadmap, because I remember the graphic. It actually seems weird to have the platform stability stay technically unstable until beta 4. Anyway, so let's see. Get your apps ready with the official Android 12 release coming next. We're asking all app and game developers to complete your final compatibility testing and publish your compatibility updates ahead of the final release. For SDK, library, tools, and game engine developers, it's important to release your compatible updates as soon as possible. Your downstream app and game developers may be blocked until they receive your updates. Well, yeah. To test your app compatibility, blah, blah, blah. Okay, privacy dashboard. A new dashboard in settings lets users see which apps are accessing which type of data and when. Users can adjust permissions if needed, and they can request details from your app on the reason for access. Interesting. Microphone and camera indicators. Yeah, we've seen those. The microphone and camera toggles. Yep, seen those. Clipboard read notification. A toast alerts users when an app reads data from the clipboard unexpectedly. Huh. Has this been a thing and I just didn't know about it? I don't remember if that was already there. Stretch over scroll. A new stretch over scroll. Yeah, we've seen that. App splash screens. Wait. Really? What is this about? How is this new? I mean, you've been able to do this forever. There's nothing. Okay, so I guess they just added something to app compat to support this, right? That seems unnecessary, but okay. Hey, cool, whatever. By the way, chat, you're so quiet. What is going on? And let's see, keygen changes. Several deprecated bouncy castle cryptographic algorithms are removed in favor of conscript versions. If your app uses a 512-bit key with AES, you'll need to use one of the standard sizes supported by Conscript. Hey, Curvy Mermaid, how's it going? Remember to test blah blah blah, explore new features and APIs. Okay, and the rest of this is all pretty standard. Okay, so breaking out of the official post, let's jump into, and I know I'm going to AP, but there may be better sources of this stuff. So, oops, this isn't the post I was looking for. This is, I think. Yep, this is the one. Okay. So, let's see. Is there anything possibly new here? I doubt it. Nope. Nothing in here is new. So let's get to the actual changes. So they fixed the square search bar. I never saw this bug. I don't think. I'm still on beta 4 with my Pixel 4. Come on. Let me leave the... Yeah, I do not have this bug. Oh, I see. It's in the app drawer. Never mind. I do have it. All right. Oh, wait. Did I switch views? Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so weird little graphical bug. It has been fixed. Hooray. So, so they're switching over to kind of a full screen look. That's actually neat. I think I like that. I mean, it's maybe not the prettiest, but it works. The fuzz around the mic and headphones. Oh, green screen fuzz, you mean. Let's see, can I do this without breaking things? Wait, is that a green screen issue? Oh, I see, the back of the chair is. Let's see if I can fix that. Yeah, I do need to still fix my lighting. It's kind of hard to do too much about that at the moment, but okay, let's see. What if we boost? We'll pop that back up a little bit. Okay, that might fix it a little. I think I'm giving myself now a green halo. Ooh. That looks like it may have fixed it a little bit more. Okay, how does this look now? Looks way better, I think. I'm still seeing a little bit of edge issue with the chair, but I think everything's fine now, or better. Let's get back into normal view. Let's see, the fuzz around the mic and headphones when you have a white background. Right, so what's happening is, and I gotta admit, I'm a little confused by this, but the keyer in OBS, for whatever reason, it is picking out things that are black. I don't know why, but it's picking out things that are black, though it could be the light reflection. No, that doesn't make sense. And there's nothing green in front of me that should be causing reflections. Anyway, yeah, it was picking out things that are a certain tone of black. And it was also partially keying those things out. And I can see it's still happening a little bit on the mic. At least it looks like it is. It's hard to tell because I'm looking at the lowest of low res. But yeah, it looks like it's mostly fixed. At least for now. In truth, what I really need more than anything is the thing that would actually fix this most is if I could reorganize this office just a little bit better. Wait, not for you. What is not for you? Because I've said a few things, so I'm not quite sure what specifically. But what would actually fix this most is if I could reorganize this office just a little bit so that I could get the green screen actually stretched out and flattened out. If you saw how it's set up now, it's bad. It looks really goofy. Let's see, actually, tell you what, just for giggles, we're gonna turn off the keyer real quick. Yeah, okay. And let's switch into this view. All right, so I actually, in order to keep the green screen from leaving too much space open, I actually have it tucked into a drawer that's right here. The back of the green screen I can't even reach behind me, but I have to pull it forward a little bit because it doesn't quite reach properly. Let's see, kind of think I want it about there. So yeah, real goofy setup. And then as you've seen on the other side, it's just going up, it's just hanging down against a wall, nothing too special there. But yep, the curtain has been pulled back. But let's get that filter turned back on. Keyed. Kirby, trying to get me set up with so many things. Well, I mean, the key, both of those. Here's the thing: green screens, for the most part, really. Well, I'm not going to say they're all the same. Obviously, they're not. This green screen is just fine. The problem is that I just need to literally hang it better. And well, I need to hang it better and actually either hang something from it to stretch it out a little bit, or just put hooks down at floor level so I have something to attach to. The other thing I need to do is actually light it properly. So right now, what I have on this side of me is just a desk lamp that has a LifeX bulb in it, and I just turn the brightness up to about 50% and light the screen that way. And right up there in that direction, I have a softbox with an LED light panel inside of it. And that is doing most of the lighting on me and the screen behind me. If I really was going to do this properly, what I should have is a dedicated light just pointed at the screen. I should have, between me and the screen should actually be, instead of like 3 feet, because I can actually, if I stretch all the way back, I can touch it. What I need or what would be ideal is actually having like 6 feet between me and the screen. Maybe not that far, I could do with less, but if I had some space between me and the screen, like more actual proper space, that helps a lot. Then light the screen properly, and then light myself individually. Right now, hole in the middle right. You mean over on this side? Or, well, so side 1, this is side 1, side 2. Just let me know. Because right doesn't actually mean much when things are being mirrored and... Or actually, I guess... Yeah, it's all mixed up for me. Okay, side 1. There's a hole. I'm not seeing anything being too wonky. Unless you're talking about this. You could be. If you are... Pretty much the trick to that is just reposition my light a little bit. Oh, or we're talking right up here, like very top corner. In which case, the easy trick is I'll just move my monitor a little bit so I kind of shave it off. Top middle to my left. This, by the way, is my left. Top middle. I'm not seeing anything. One small change I can make, though, is just angle the camera down too. Okay, anyway. So, oh, but that makes it more visible that there's a little bit of goofiness down here. But hey, we're just going to ignore it for now. I think this is about as perfect as we're going to get, short of actually doing this correctly. And part of the reason I haven't necessarily gone out of my way to fix all this stuff like I would like to is because if I can get to it, what I really want to do, I want to convert part of the space in my bedroom to do streams from. If I can do that, it's not that it's necessarily a larger space, but it would be a space that I have more control over, in terms of like being how I can set things up in there. And so I haven't wanted to do too many changes to this room and fix all of these issues because I want to get it done right in a different room. Oh, interesting. Well, I look forward to hearing about the Elgato stuff. Hey, Diablo, welcome. Good to have you here. Yeah, so let's see. What was the other thing I was going to say? Damn it, now I'm forgetting. Oh, not that it matters all that much, but the other thing that would really make a big difference. Hey, Kirby, if you can set that up, oh hell, I will be going. I will do a lot more game streaming then. I would actually be able to install games. Not that I can't install some stuff to the Mac. It's just the options are so much more limited. But anyway, the other thing that I can do this. It's just kind of a pain again with this office setup. But the other thing that I would like to do is just take my second camera. Well, it's now my second camera, I guess you could say. I'd like to set up my second camera, the A6500, pointed at me with an actual proper lens. Maybe turn on autofocus, maybe not, but the key thing here is set it up at the right distance, pointed at myself with a little bit more telephoto, not by much, just a little bit, and that would improve colors and fix screen issues and everything else so much. I mean, not hugely. People might not notice it. It would also improve sharpness, and just in general, it would be a nice improvement. Or at least I would notice improvements. I'm not sure anyone else would. But yeah, I'm constantly moving around my tripod and constantly trying to get stuff reorganized around the desk. And if I do that, setting up the camera for that is just like several minutes extra of moving stuff around, tearing it down, setting it up every time I want to do photo shoots. So that's kind of the reason I haven't stuck with, or haven't gone to using the camera as like a mainstay. But at some point I will. At least I hope so. Really quick. It's just bugging me. I can see dust on the top of this webcam and I have to wipe it off. You can see the beanie better. Nice. All right, Curvy, see you in a little bit. Enjoy the Wendy's. Let's see. So anyway, what else do we have? We were looking at the Android 12 goodness. Let's see. I'm still not sure who the other viewer is right now, but good to have Diablo hanging with me. Okay, we'll get off of the search bar thing, and we're on to Google rebranding device personalization services as Private Compute Core. That's quite a change of names. Right now it's just a name change. Okay, so this is purely theory crafting, the fact that it is now called Private Compute Core. Oh, hey, Austin. And no worries. If you're driving, definitely drive. Focus on that. But, yeah. Well, hey, every once in a while, name changes, they matter. You never know. But Private Compute Core, that does indicate something maybe unusual is happening. I admit, even I'm curious with that kind of a change. Let's see. Yeah, not much to see there. So, moving on. Android 12 Beta 5 moves home controls where they should have been from the start. Okay, so with the with the very latest and very possibly last, yeah, I mean it's gonna be. Google is adding a lot of creature comforts that flesh out the operating system's user interaction. One of the most handy is home controls, aka device controls. Quick links to your most used actions for controlling a smart home. Previously, and distractingly, placed in the power menu, they seem to have been much more easy to reach home now. Yeah. But, so I don't know about anyone else, but I was super, super unhappy with the fact that they moved device controls into the whatchamacallits, the tiles. That was not a welcome change. That I was fine with them in the power menu. I can understand why that's not ideal. I get that. I'm not complaining about the fact they take it out of there, but I hated the fact that I had to get as far as swiping down, find device controls, tap it. It was taking up a tile space or shortcut. Yeah, it just wasn't good. That was a bad place for it. Putting it on the lock screen I can deal with. So yeah, pretty okay with that. These links mirror some of the custom skins seen in earlier days of Android, but are now dedicated to the tools, blah blah blah. Okay. So I do like this, I think. I mean, time will tell. I'll have to install it and find out if I like it, but we'll see. Let's see. So, big change indeed. Hey, Austin. Artem scooping AP with APK mirror. Which scoop are we talking about, or what scoop are we talking about? And it's not like Artem doesn't scoop AP all the freaking time. It was actually part of the reason why I had to stop posting. There will be stories about this someday, but I had to actually stop posting things during teardowns. I'd have to stop posting things for Artem to see, because he would take the thing that I mentioned and then leak it to Twitter, and a whole bunch of people would go run and check it out before I had a chance to actually post it, or before I could write it up. And it's like, dude, what? Why? Don't do this. Oh, he posted the calculator and clock stuff. Okay, that's what I was about to look at next too. You don't know how you feel about the 2 shortcuts now. Power menu went from power to hide menu. Okay, I'll check that out. Maybe, let's see. Let's actually, I probably shouldn't do this. During a stream, there's certainly no better time for me to start downloading an update, but let's give it a shot. Download and install 131 megs. That should be nothing. If I can't imagine this is going to cause any trouble for the stream, but here we go. Download is beginning now. So yeah, okay. We've got some reasonable changes here. Let's see what is up with the calculator app, because we now have Material U UI design, which I hate this name. Material U UI. The mere fact that you have to repeat the U sound twice in a row, I don't feel like this was good branding. Anyway, so we have all-rounded everything. Not gonna lie, it's not bad. I just, this feels, you know what this feels like to me? Material UI. No, what this feels like to me is the best way I have to describe it. This is gonna sound mean, honestly. Like, this sounds meaner than I think it's intended to be, but it reminds me of the style of interface that they do for lack of a better way to say it, old folks. Oh, makeup box. You're right. Oh, wow. Yes, those look like, that looks like a makeup box palette. 100%. If each of the buttons was just a different color, this would absolutely be your eyeshadow palette. That's hilarious. Let's see. Austin, you use a TI-89 emulator on the phone. Out of curiosity, because it's not often that I get to talk to someone who has used actual like scientific or graphing calculators. Have you ever used HP calculators? I know people hate these things, and I get why, but have you ever actually used reverse Polish notation? I don't know why. For some reason, I was introduced to it when I first started going to college, and I absolutely fell in love with RPN. It was so good. And it's crazy. It shouldn't be, but it made so much sense to me. I can understand. I totally understand why people don't necessarily like it, but I was totally down for it. Anyway, let's see. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So oh, you had a professor who, yep, you swear you had HP stock. I can understand that. I kept using that same calculator for quite a while until actually my car was broken into and the bag that the calculator was in got stolen. So unfortunately I lost it at that point, but after that I did end up replacing it with the TI calculator. It was I mean, I liked both of them. I like the TI calculator, but RPN just will always have a special place in my heart. Hey, David Lama, how's it going? How's it going? ColorOS coming out by the end of the month. No way they beat Google on releasing Android 12, right? Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, oh yeah, Diablo, for real. Those calculators, it confuses me that they are still as expensive as they are. I guess maybe from a certain standpoint it makes sense because you know that they can't possibly sell them, but and by that I mean they don't sell them at high enough numbers to justify it, because let's be honest, a lot of people have way more powerful phones that they're using. iPhone 14 leak, nice. Did Prosser actually show his leaks yet? I didn't look. I did see that was the story. Let's see. Do we have links for this? Wait, hold on a second. I just saw something and it's like, wait a second, how many things are not being shown to me that are under embargo? Geez. Okay, yeah. Somebody screwed up an AP and did not send me something that they were supposed to. Okay, well, there we go. That's a thing. All right, so good times. Okay, so quickly looking up on comments. Notchless talks but didn't look. Okay, I'll actually just reuse this tab. I guess we're just going to do this the easy way. All right, what do we got here? All right, cute effect, but yeah, okay. I bet CNET gives us quicker, more accessible hints than anything else. or maybe not. Let's see. AR is the new 5G wording gonna be. Drinking game. Yeah, no, AR is clearly going to be the big talking point for the next couple of years. It's all anybody wants to focus on because it makes for interesting demos. Alright, what do we have here though? The excitement around the 14 before the 13 has even been announced seems to show people are eager for a notchless iPhone. Previous rumors have suggested Apple may shrink the notch on upcoming iPhones, while others have speculated it could get removed altogether. The 14 rumors shared by Prosser on Wednesday line up with predictions from Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo in March, who reportedly said some 2022 iPhones will have a punch hole display design instead of a notch. Okay. So if they're not going to go with under display camera, which I'm kind of okay with, I think that's maybe still a pretty sketchy prospect, then yeah, punch hole really makes it's really the only option. It's either that or just instead of doing a full notch, do just like the drip style notch. Let's see. Hold on one second. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut away, but just looking to see if there was something of substance in this story that AP is technically going to miss. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Someone was supposed to send me something that was embargoed to us. They never did. So I do not get to see it. Okay, so the bullet points. No notch. A thicker chassis allowing for no rear camera bump. That's good, actually. I don't get me wrong. I kind of for some phones I kind of like having a bit of a bump, but generally speaking, if it's off center, I think that's a bad time. I don't like a phone that's going to sit lopsided on its camera bump. With the lenses, LED flash, LiDAR scanner sitting flush with the rear glass. Okay. Titanium frame. Always neat. Round volume buttons that look similar to those on older iPhone 4 and 5 models. Okay, that's wacky. I'm not complaining about it. I kind of like that general design, but interesting. Redesigned speaker and microphone grills with elongated mesh cutouts instead of individual holes on the bottom of the device. Alright, whatever. Lightning connector remains on at least some iPhone 14 models. Okay. So, thank you thank you Mac Rumors for being cool and giving us a nice quick bullet point listing of the changes. No sitting through, I'm just guessing, a 14-minute front page tech video that is going to really, really drag out the first 5 minutes. Sorry, John, but dude, I just can't. I just can't with you. Your videos make it difficult. Let's see. What else do we have here? The glorious bullet points. Honestly, I have thought a few times, because we have talked in AP about the possibility of doing bullet points, and I swear it has been tossed around but summarily kind of thrown back out. I think we absolutely should. I think we should be all about the bullet point life. I really, really want that. Because I know this will sound stupid, but I'm dead serious about it. I feel like you're free to say more and maybe be wordier if you put bullet points in your posts. If you can just drop the bullet points in there, give people that quick, super summary, and then like after that, just go in and be free to be wordier. You know, just give us actual context instead of trying to pack all the details into like, 300 to 500 words. Just like give us those bullet points, and then feel free to take 800 words to say what you want to say. If people care about that extra context, if people want those background notes, get in it. You can. It's not that big a deal, but yeah, having this, like, that's awesome. Also, just you can write this and then publish it with mostly the bullet points and the key details, and then go back and refine it, which I know some people are into, some people aren't. It varies, but depending on the type of article, it makes sense. Anyway, Diablo, give me more battery, please. Agreed. Battery life has gotten better in a lot of phones and devices, but man, it can always get bigger and better. Carson brings up Business Insider or CNBC. Business Insider is still so cringe to me. I know technically they sometimes get leaks or important stuff, but man, I just do not like that site. To me, it is a lot like Forbes, but just slightly less bad. Narrowly less bad than Forbes. And people hate Forbes for good reason. I'm screwing with my camera lens for no particular reason, except I noticed for the first time that if I twist the lens cap one direction, it actually tightens down, which makes sense, but it's in theory not supposed to actually do that. It is what it is. Diablo, Arg, Forbes, agreed. So there was actually, I don't remember who it was, but over the weekend, here comes the trash talk. Over the weekend, I saw this hot take about it. In case anyone was watching Twitter, you may have seen that the movie Blade or Wesley Snipes was trending for a little bit, and it's because people were kind of paying homage to the movie Blade. And this one particular writer had a hot take. His hot take was very there's no polite way to say it. His hot take was basically straight racist, but kind of like, I don't want to say reverse racist because that has a particular meaning and connotation, but it was basically straight up saying, hey, there have been no superheroes other than white guys, like white male superheroes, since this string of movies proved that these could be successful movies, and then Hollywood just gave all the following movies to white guys. And all I could think as I'm reading this is, dude, you clearly know nothing about movies. As I'm listing in my head the countless examples of him being completely wrong. Anyway, I look at this guy's bio. Sure enough, Forbes. And he says something about, he had some comment about, in his bio about, like hot takes. And all I'm thinking is, it's not that all Forbes writers have to be bad, but why is it so many of them are? Why is it so many of them are? Anyway, look at the first comment on this article. I stopped reading it, John Prosser. That's hilarious. I mean, only one of the 2 comments down. Only one of these is believable. That it's called the iPhone 14. I mean, look, I'm gonna debate. I will debate that comment just because. The claim of a no notch that goes for a punch hole instead, I admit that one does leave me a little doubtful. Only because I can imagine. I feel like that's such a late thing to be doing that Apple would have either gone for under display camera or they would just stick with a notch. I feel like Apple doesn't want to change the notch is the thing. But that's about it. Let's see. The thicker chassis. Frankly, here's the thing. I don't think it has anything to do with the rear camera bump. I think Apple's okay with that. But I bet if they're going to thicken the body, it's going to be for other sensors and features. And they probably wanted to put in some new thing and already hit that limit and basically acknowledged, hey, we have to make this thicker. We have to make it thicker in order to accommodate these other things. If we're already going to make it thicker, let's just make it equal with the camera bump. And that way, no bump. This other thing that people already make fun of, let's solve it. Let's fix all of these things in one go. Carson, I've seen a Forbes article in ages ever since. I assume there was supposed to be a haven't. Or I've not seen a Forbes article in ages ever since I blocked them from my Google Discover feed. Yep. Actually, I don't remember if I blocked Forbes or not, but I think so. Because so many of the Forbes articles were just bad. I couldn't read that much clickbait. I've blocked almost all of the really bad clickbaiters. Like the actual worst of the worst. I guess I haven't done it for entertainment though. I actually need to block our now sister site, Screen Rant and Game Rant, because I am so sick and tired of getting Borderlands 3 articles and Borderlands 4 articles. You know, a game that hasn't even started development yet. I'm so sick of getting hot takes about these things that are just terrible. Yeah. Game Rant and Screen Rant are now sister sites to AP, and no one is that happy about it. Let's see. Apple should have sold see-through masks. That'd be funny. Let's see. David Lama. Yeah, I still don't really get the argument. How hard is it to type the 4 digits when wearing a mask or have a watch automatically unlock? I know what you're saying, and I'm actually going to answer that by simply saying it's one of those things where it's not individually hard to type some numbers or gesture, like draw a symbol or whatever. It's that when you're gonna do something like that, literally 100 times a day, you use Diablo uses a passcode too. Yeah. So the thing is, and bearing in mind, obviously, I'm not describing everybody. Not everyone uses their phone 100 times a day. But for people who do, the iPhone should just scan your forehead. I don't know. I feel like there might be a problem with that for some people. Just saying. Anyway, Yeah, if the thing is, so if you're one of those people that unlocks your phone so many times a day, just an untenable number of unlocks, you're going to have such a like painful delay in using the phone. You're sacrificing, yes, granted, it's only like fractions of a second or a second or two, something like that. Still, it's so much going into unlocking your phone. I do get it. I want to unlock methods that don't involve typing in a code. Plus, do you have to think about it? If you're giving even the smallest amount of cognitive attention to typing in a passcode, then it's a bad experience. You very possibly are redirecting your attention to something that you really don't need to be. So yeah, to me, I get it. I fully support that you got to have some sort of biometric unlocks for convenience. That being said, of course, anyone who says that biometrics are for security probably doesn't know anything about security. They're for convenient security. Biometrics are good for stopping someone from getting into a phone when you set it down on a table for a few minutes. Biometrics are good for screwing with a thief, but eventually that thief can probably, a reasonably technological thief, is going to be able to get through it. Yeah, the biometric defenses are just purely for convenience. At some point, somebody said, hey, we want to make some trades. What can we do? Now, I say this, but it is worth noting. People think biometrics are fantastic because they've seen them in movies for years. Here's the problem with that. By the way, I actually worked up a longer thing about this once, but I never really wanted to go too far down this road because it becomes such a boring conversation. But the interesting part of it is this part, I think. The thing about biometrics in movies isn't that they're hard to break. I mean, we have seen it how many times? You need to get into a bank vault and it scans someone's eye. Well, they grab someone, force them up to the thing, or maybe they're even unconscious and they drag them over and stick their hand on a plate or their face up to whatever thing and hold their eyes open. I'm trying to think of a polite replacement for the word gouge, and I just don't know that there is one. But they abscond with someone's ocular organs and take them to said iris scanner. Yeah, that, I don't think that's better. Anyway, yeah, or they cut off a finger or a hand or, whatever. It depends on how dark a movie wants to go, but yeah, that's the thing. People have been beating these things in movies for almost as long as these things have been in movies. Here's the thing. Which movie was that? I mean, legitimately. I could not begin to list because I've seen it in so many movies, even a few TV shows. Yeah, cutting off a hand or ripping out an eye really is actually a weirdly common theme in movies. More common than physically just dragging a knocked out person up to the scanner. Remember Loki gave Barton the eye? I did not see that yet. I don't think. That's from the show, right? If it's from one of the movies, I guess I would have seen it, but I think that was from the show. Or I'm assuming that's from the show. Anyway, yeah, here's the thing. Avengers 1? Really? I don't remember that, but okay. I do need to rewatch those, but I was kind of waiting for the next Avengers movie to, like, the next, like, true, all, like, big get-together Avengers movie. when that comes, I'm gonna rewatch. I'm gonna do the big marathon rewatch from the beginning, possibly skipping a couple of the really, really mediocre ones. But yeah, one of these days there will be another big one. Okay, anyway, the reason biometrics in movies work is because it's never just one thing. Because sure, you can go in and crack if you go in with a passcode, great, you've got the passcode. Then you have to touch a scanner with your hand that reads multiple fingerprints. And then you've got an iris scanner. Maybe you've got voice print analysis. You start piling these things up. And sure, in movies, because they're movies, they always have all of the methods worked out. And then something happens partway through and they're like, we didn't plan for this. Quick thinking, hack into it, or do this or do that. Or just blow crap up. It always works. It does. But here's the thing. That stuff works because you're adding multiple steps. Let's be honest. Imagine if our phones straight up, not only with your phone would you have to enter a code, but you'd also have it do a face scan while you enter the code. Or how about face scan and fingerprint reader? You want to make a phone secure? Let me require all three. Hell, throw in voice print analysis for the hell of it. That will make a secure phone. Diablo, front camera broken, screen broken. Yeah, well, okay. Hey, exactly. If you really want to stop people from breaking into your phone, just break your phone. Oh God. LG did it first. Yeah. Well, hey, for what it's worth, Samsung was the first one to give us the Mission Impossible situation. You remember Mission Impossible? This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Kaboom. Yeah. So, anyway. So terrible. I almost feel bad for making that joke, and at the same time, not at all. But anyway. So, now that I think about it, we're really due for a reboot. An actual reboot of the Mission Impossible franchise. Now that, actually, wait. Or did they... They were just filming one, weren't they? This is dangerous, going off into movie talk, but your mission if you choose to accept it. Yes, exactly. I swear I heard that... Oops. Hey, look at that. I did misspell it. Oh, no, I didn't. Wait a second. Ah, yeah, I did. Okay. That was a typo. Wait, what? Untitled Tom Cruise SpaceX project? Really? That's weird. Cruisy should be his name. That's awesome. I didn't even notice how I misspelled it, but yeah, that'd be awesome. But 2 more Mission Impossibles. Jeez. Not sure how good of a plan that is. I was just thinking, hey, he probably shouldn't be doing any more of those. I think he would have been checking out, but then I remember hearing that he was filming one, or may have been filming one during the pandemic. And which of course led to the famous yelling at some people situation. Though I'm wondering if that was... Yeah, that must have been Mission Impossible 7 and 8. It had to be, because those are currently listed as filming. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been Top Gun, because he was in... I think I heard he was in France for this. I could be wrong, but it was something like that. Wonder what it would do for SpaceX, like a narrator. I'm kind of wondering if this is... Okay, it's been announced, so there must be more to it. Let's see, do we have... Wait, what? This can't be right. Estimated budget of $200 million. Okay, this is obviously not like a documentary situation. This doesn't feel like production companies, Storyteller Productions, and Hypnotic. What do these two do? Okay. These are legit movies. Oh, Hypnotic was behind Suits, The OC, Born Supreme. Yeah, these are legit names. Okay. Yeah, it could be advertising, but these are all fiction-oriented things. So I'm thinking this has to be a scripted thing. I'm betting this is I'm betting that this is kind of along the ideological lines of Space Force, but actually using SpaceX as its real thing. Okay. We're going way off the rails here, but all right, Deadline. Tom Cruise plots movie to shoot in space with Elon Musk's SpaceX. Holy crap. This should just be a Mission Impossible movie. Exclusive. I'm hearing that Tom Cruise and Elon Musk SpaceX are working on a project with NASA that would be the first narrative feature film and action adventure to be shot in outer space. It's not a Mission Impossible film, and no studio's in the mix at this stage, but look for more news as I get it. But this is real, albeit in the early stages of liftoff. Jeez. What the hell? Oh man. Okay. So skipping past the whatever stuff. NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine, I'm guessing that's how that's pronounced. He's on Tuesday confirmed Deadline scoop. What the hell? This is... Yeah, okay, whatever. That's bonkers. That is not what I expected at all. Oh boy. Tom Cruise head into space. Wonder how long it's going to take for the for people to start a petition to have him stay there. Anyway, that is so weird. I don't know what to make of that. Anyway. It's so crazy. Okay, so getting back really quick, just because I don't want to have to circle back to these again. I want to quickly finish off the Android 12 stuff. So we already kind of talked about the calculator and the fact that it looks like a makeup palette, which odd. And I still look at the round colors and stuff like this, and it still feels to me just a little bit designed for old people. Again, I'm not judging that. I'm not hateful about it. just acknowledging it kind of feels like it's designed for old people. And then we get to the clock widget, which has also gotten its Material U design. I'll just say, okay. Not really my look, but it looks nice, I guess. I don't want to use it personally. In fact, out of the clock widgets I see, the only ones that I want are either on the left screen. I want the smallest one that has the time as one line, or looking over on the other screen. Actually, the only ones I want are the ones where the clock is on one line. Now, obviously, multiple lines like the top two on the right screen, with the city and the day also as separate lines. I'm good with that, but I don't like the stacked look where it's showing the hour on top and the minute on the bottom. And I'm not against the look. Well, I don't think it's a bad look for the analog clock, but it's not a look I like. You'd probably do the analog one just for aesthetic. Yeah, I don't know. It just isn't my look. It's nothing against it in general. I just don't personally find it to be it doesn't fit the aesthetic I like. I typically like sharper lines. That I freely admit is one thing I think I'm actually going to really dislike for the next few years about Android, because holy crap, everything is so rounded. I'm good with like rounded corners. I love rounded corners. I want rounded corners on almost everything, but I want them to be nice, tight, sharp radius. I want a radius that's going to be, I don't know, really not much more than a few pixels. I don't want something that is super loose radius. Diablo 3x3 grid, big tiles, big buttons, better for grandpa indeed. Users who say I bought my grandpa an iPhone use those excuses. Yep. Already have the digital clock and the status bar. Yes, I agree, but okay, I acknowledge this is less of an issue than it used to be. Let's see. The thing is, and I know that this isn't, well, it hasn't been a big thing for me in the last year and a half. Thank you, COVID. But when I used to be like out at bars or hanging out with people in various settings, if someone asked for the time, sometimes you just hold up the phone and it's like, it's that time. Like it, without going back to the lock screen or anything like that, it's just so nice to be able to hold up the phone and people can just see your clock. Not a necessity, but I found that happened a lot. Which also, to be fair, is another reason to go with digital clock as opposed to analog, because digital just takes less time to read, takes less time to interpret, and some people, if you can believe it, some people still can't really read analog clocks. Like, they can read them, but they don't. They just don't do it often enough for it to click. Let's see. Diablo. I want to see the at a glance widget updated already. I think they're saving it for the Pixel 6 exclusive for a bit. I can see that. Though honestly, I bet it's just because they're taking their time getting it updated. It probably will happen on the Pixel 6 launch, but I bet it'll happen for everybody. I don't think it'll be an actual exclusive. Ooh, good stretch. Um, it'll just be kind of a, hey, we're rolling out the Pixel 6 this week. Oh, by the way, or rather, we're shipping the Pixel 6 this week. By the way, we're also rolling out the Google app update that happens to also include a fully material UI for the at a glance widget. Yeah, you guys talking about the lock screen having digital clock. Yeah, I get it. At a glance will be replaced by live space, right? I don't remember. Oh, no, we're not opening that one. Google's at a glance widget is now live space in Android 12. I guess so. Is this anything more than a name change, though? Really? He had to do a thing for that? Whatever. Google's app widget still has the older name attached. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Is this anything other than a name change and a very minor aesthetic tweak? The only visual change seems to be blah, blah, blah. They still call it that. Not sure where the yawns came from, though. It's getting warm in here. Like I'm definitely feeling that heat. That late afternoon heat is kicking in. Something serious. All right, just quickly skimming. I'm not seeing a whole lot in terms of what's actually changing. Just an acknowledgement that the name is different. So we'll see. I guess it would make sense. I wonder if... Okay. You know what? Austin, I do see where you're going with that, and I can see that making sense. Or wait, sorry. Diablo. Yeah, I think my brain is actually shutting off a little bit. So yeah, if live space actually is going to be like the formal replacement of at a glance, I could see them technically leaving at a glance basically unchanged for a little bit, introducing live space, formally introducing live space, giving it a makeover, and then in a few months when they have passed whatever exclusivity or beta period or whatever it's going to be, then start rolling it out to everybody else. That would make a lot of sense. Oh no, it's going to be a messaging. Oh, that's right. Okay. Come on, Ryan. Put things in the right, or link to things. It helps. Let's see. Live space widget news. Okay. Oh yeah, it is the conversation thing. Yeah, okay. So I don't really get what's happening then. Because at a glance is definitely not a conversation widget. And a conversation-oriented widget is not at a glance. Not really seeing why they would change the name, though. Google be like, we need more. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really getting this. Well, okay. Anyway, let's see. So, kind of, I don't know. I just kind of feel like that's not, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Anyway, what else do we have? Which is kind of a serious question. What else do we have? Because besides the Android 12 stuff that I already pulled up and the rambling I did at the beginning, I am effectively out of topics. Let's see. Since I imagine a few people missed it earlier, just for giggles, I'm going to actually kind of retell this one. I assume Austin probably got this, but I was on a phone call last night, and for purposes of the review, I decided to use the Razer Hammerhead True Wireless earbuds for the call, and they actually work great for it. But they have this mode to or this alternate to the ANC mode, where what you do is, if you want to hear the sounds around you, you turn this on and it actually amplifies them instead of muting them. Well, when I was on the phone call and I turned this mode on, it, instead of blocking out sounds or amplifying them for me, it took these sounds around me and fed them through the phone to the other person who was there or on the line with me. And so it was a really weird bug. Not sure why, but have I seen any hint of a dialer material UUI yet? I haven't been looking, but I mean, obviously the dialer and all the other core stuff will absolutely be getting Material U. I don't know what the timeline will be, but I'd be surprised if it didn't happen by launch. Diablo, yeah, exactly. What the hell? Like, why? Yeah, it was definitely an unusual bug, not one I would have expected. But yeah, so I'm gonna tell Razer about it. I'm not gonna like surprise them with posting a review and say, oh my god, what the hell with these guys. I'll let them know about it, but I'm still probably going to mention it in the review just to say, hey, you know, this happened to me. I already let Razer know about it. They said the fix was coming, so by the time anyone reads this, firmware should probably be out. But yeah, I'm on the phone talking with a friend of mine last night. Crickets are just going mad in the background. I turn on this ANC mode, or reverse ANC mode, thinking, hey, you know, I'm curious what I would hear through this. And she goes, wait, what is that? Is that like feedback? And before long, she realizes, no, those are crickets. Diablo, what's funny is you say day one update. Fun fact, these have been out for months. They actually launched at $200. I'm now getting, or as I'm going to be writing this, they are now 120 or 130, something like that. So I haven't tried replicating it because I only discovered it late last night. I will try, just out of curiosity, but yeah, I'm so confused by this. It's a very odd bug. And yeah, that's a good point. I do need to replicate it just to make sure. But either way, they need to know, because even if it was a one-time fluke, it's something that possibly could happen again. So they should actually know about it and be able to fix it. Or who knows, maybe it is an intended feature. It, I, don't get me wrong, I think it's a crazy notion, but imagine if you were at like a music event, or maybe there was somebody talking and you wanted to treat this kind of like a speakerphone mode. I can see that being legitimately useful. It's a weird idea, and I, again, don't think this is how it was intended to be used, but I could see that being theoretically a desirable function in some limited situations. Oh, which there's a lot about these earbuds that I'm having that thought about. So, of course, these earbuds have, let's see, do they light up if I do this? So they have LEDs on the back. And you probably can't, well, maybe you can tell. It's the Razer logo, and they're actually multicolor LEDs, so you can make them basically whatever color you want. By the way, technically it was blinking green, but because of the chroma keyer, you saw white. Anyway, so what's interesting about these, or well, I was thinking this is, so I've heard many people say that this is a dumb feature. They don't think it serves a purpose. And what struck me is, no, it's actually kind of a brilliant feature. You just have to use it right and explain it right. Because here's the thing. I can't count how many times I've walked up to someone who had on headphones or earbuds, and I'm not actually sure if they're listening to something, if they can hear it. I don't know how much effort I have to go to get their attention. Here's the thing. If you have these on and you set it to the mode where they blink light based on what you're listening to, anyone who walks up is going to be able to see that and go, oh, that's an irregular pattern. That looks like music beats. Ah, they're listening to something. Having that knowledge is actually kind of useful, or I can see it being useful if you acknowledge that that's how it can and probably should be used. Yeah, so they would ask, did you hit the share sound toggle? That's the thing. I'm wondering if there's some possibility. I just don't think there would be. It doesn't make sense to me that they would have it intentionally sharing your outside sounds. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna call it 15 minutes now because I feel myself just draining in energy so fast. And it, you know, as usual, may go on longer, but I just, it depends on what else we hit, if there are any other topics, because I just don't know. I know last night there was no way of opening the windows. It was smoky and unpleasant-ish outside. It actually wasn't that bad. I went outside for a little bit to have the phone call, but yeah, it was not ideal. Let's see, what else is there? What else happened? Okay, we're done with the Android 12 stuff. Oh, I posted this. Yeah. So, okay, not a whole lot to say on this, but yeah, the Canon raised the prices of its cameras and lenses. And not everything, I believe, but it was all their big boy stuff. And these were not small price increases. It was like, I think on average, yeah, like $100 per lens, up to $200 it looks like on one of the more expensive cameras. Only $20 on their PowerShot SX620, which I don't even know what that, I'm assuming that's basically point and shoot, but I don't even know what it is. Yeah, and basically they're hitting supply line difficulties. Yeah, they're hitting, well, due to COVID, they're hitting just trouble getting parts out from what I can from what I've read. Which, when you consider all of it, like, Canon gets so much of its stuff from its own facilities. This isn't a company that buys from a lot of like foreign companies. I'm sure they get some stuff that way, but generally speaking, Canon builds almost all of its own parts. I don't know that they're doing circuits, but I think they are. But I know they produce all their own glass, they produce their own lenses, their camera bodies, their sensors. They're doing pretty much all of it in-house. So you gotta figure that means they're probably hitting some manufacturing challenges. And frankly, I could see other companies getting in this too, but this is a rough situation to be in. To be fair, I expect they'll come out of it just fine, but also they probably need to figure out solutions quickly, because the last thing you want to do is have to raise your prices and just keep them up there. Though I also wonder if maybe this is their opportunity. You know, if you know what I mean, it's their opportunity to raise prices without too much backlash, and then after all this is over, they just kind of conveniently stop charging as much. Carson, yes, I do use Sony. I'm an A7 III boy. And welcome back, Curvy. The catch with Canon is that a lot of cameras actually either use or at least are very friendly with Canon lenses. So, like, you might be able to throw an adapter on and use a Canon lens on just about every other camera. Very notably, that was actually something that was popular with Sony's when they first came out with their digital line. They would... Oh, sorry. Anyway, Sony kind of relied somewhat heavily on the fact that a couple of other companies made adapters, and those adapters really were focused on Canon lenses. So if you're running around with the Sony, presumably this was your perfect transition situation. You basically could throw on an adapter with the lens, and lo and behold, you now have Canon glass, which was some of the best, on a Sony body, which was one of the best, and lo and behold, good camera. I want to fiddle with something, but everything I look at, it's like, no, I don't want to mess with that. How would I rank Sony, Canon, and Nikon lenses? I would say Canon and Sony are basically equal on cameras. Nikon has slipped behind. Very notably, Nikon uses Sony's sensors, so they're already not likely to be better than Sony. But also their camera technology has just kind of been falling behind in general. So yeah, I feel like Nikon just, they're doing good work. They still have a lot of other business, but yeah, I think the camera side of Nikon's business maybe will not really be considered in a few more years. Just a hunch. So, and I don't feel like differentiating between Sony and Canon even makes sense. They are both such big competitors, and honestly, every few months, one of them releases a camera that kind of beats the camera from another one. So, yeah, sort of not really seeing a winner. As far as lenses, Canon glass is famously the best. Not that it is still the best, more that it was the best. And because of that, there's a whole bunch of old Canon glass out there that people still love to use. Sony's, I would just generally say, is second best. More, again, of a general thing than an actual consistent thing. And, well, Nikon and Sony are probably tied on this one. To be fair, I still picked Sony for a lot of other practical reasons that make a lot more sense to me. Seriously. I wonder, this is one of those days. I kind of wish I had a thermometer in this room, because I can feel myself just progressively, like my brain feels like it's shutting down. This, by the way, is why I hate working in offices where it gets warm. I've actually had this problem at a couple of old contracting jobs where if the office gets warm, I am so much more prone to just sitting there and falling asleep during work. Water glasses. Yeah, I mean, I've been chugging on water. It doesn't make enough of a difference. Anyway, yeah. The thing is, they're all good camera companies. They all make good cameras. It's just at this stage, I feel like Nikon is inevitably going to fall behind, and Sony and Canon are basically going to duke it out. And there are other cameras that are big competitors in this space. They're just not recognized as the big three for one reason or another. I expect it won't be too long before Fuji becomes one of the big I see Nikon kind of falling out of this picture and Fuji sort of coming up and becoming the new one of the big three. Is my cat okay with the heat? She loves it. My cat is a huge fan of heat. She does not like the cold. She can deal with it. She can deal with everything, but no, when it's hot outside, oh, it doesn't matter. It could be 100 out there, and you open the door, she will bolt out there. She wants to be out in that heat. Austin, SLRs are going to be more and more of a niche item from here on out. I agree and disagree. I don't think. Well, if you're talking SLRs in the sense of mirror or cameras with moving mirrors, then yeah. I mean, they're as niche as it gets. They're done. At least in terms of buying new ones. There is no future left for a moving camera, or sorry, a moving mirror. However, if you're talking about interchangeable lens cameras or dedicated cameras, whatever, I would say not a chance in hell. I think they're going to be sticking around, but the use cases for them are shifting. So if we're talking, okay, think about the different types of people who need cameras for different types of things. If we're talking about a professional photographer, they're still going to have a big boy camera, just because part of it is for show, part of it's the look of it, but mostly because there's a lot you can do with the physical lenses that you just can't do with the smartphone. If we're talking about someone who's doing like product photos, advertising, anything like that, same story. When you get more into how normal people use a camera, generally speaking, yeah, people are done with big boy cameras. They're onto smartphones. And I think that transition already happened. There are a few more people who will keep making that switch, that will leave behind their big boy cameras, but that's about it. I don't think it's going to be that big of a shift from here on out. All that said, that's talking still photos. Here's the thing. This makes a great video camera. Maybe not the lens that I have on it at the moment, but this is a great video camera. And I mean, just look at everything that is happening in video. TikTok is huge. Plenty of people make a fortune off of doing TikTok content. Same with Instagram Live. Well, not even live, just Instagram stories, posting any video of any kind to Instagram. YouTube is obviously still huge. Anybody that says YouTube's on its way out is on huge, copious quantities of crack. Let's see. Oh, well, Facebook, and the list goes on and on. Streamers. Yes, there are obviously webcam or streamers that prefer webcams and stuff like that. But the thing is, there are also so many of them that use a camera like this one. You know, throw a camera like this up on a tripod. They want to get a really good sharp image. They're going to use something like that. And it could be game streamers, it could be cam girls, it could be a hundred other things. It is there. I mean, this is that business that they really make money off of. So it makes sense to invest a little bit more and put a good camera up there. They'll stick around, but expect them to become more expensive. Can't imagine even mirrorless will be produced in the current numbers that will lower costs. Again, yes and no. Here's the thing. Or rather, here's the thing about that. Well, okay, there are a couple things to say on this. So one of the things I expect is when we're talking about cameras, I think what we're going to see is... Okay, I'm just going to use Sony as a perfect, pristine little example here. Is it the FX3? Sony FX3 versus A7S3. Is that the right one? Making sure that this is... that I'm actually thinking of the right thing here. Oh yeah, this has got to be the right one. Okay. Let's see. Someone did... Is this the right one? Oh. Yep, it is. Okay. All right, so... that lead picture is almost misleading. Okay, we're going to shrink this down so you guys can actually see this properly. Okay, so this is the Sony FX3. Now, very notably, the picture here does not have a lens on it, but you see big handle, you see this big module at the top. Down at the bottom, it's got a full-size HDMI port on it. It's a thicker camera. This is a chunky beast, or presumably it kind of looks like it would be a chunky beast. Let's get up here now. Okay. Oh, and very notably, if you look at this picture again, there's no viewfinder on it. There is a screen on the back, but there's not a there's not the iCup viewfinder kind of thing. So here's the thing about this camera. It is basically identical to the Sony a7S III. FX3, a7S III, same camera. The body's different, and they do have extra ports on the FX3, but otherwise, it's the same damn camera. Same functions, same chip inside, same practically everything, but they added a few features, they added a little bit more to it, and these two cameras didn't come out that far apart. And they also are intended for different users. The A7S III is more of your kind of at-home run-and-gun shooter, while the FX3 is intended to be mounted up a little bit more like an actual cinema rig, albeit a very, very compact cinema rig. And like you can tell because you can't really see it in this picture, but that big box at the top of this thing actually has XLR ports. XLR ports, for those that don't know, they kind of look like those really, really old like keyboard plugs, the ones that were like as big around as your thumb. Yeah. Huge ports. Anyway, what I kind of expect is in a few years, I think what we're going to see is camera companies are going to be releasing something kind of like that, or rather following the strategy of, here we produced one basic core camera and now we're going to sell 2 or 3 versions of it, which is not a new thing. Canon was doing it for years, still kind of is, and Canon just separated everything by software. I'm thinking of something a little bit more honest, where in this case, like, they sell the same internals but using a body that offers features that are custom or specific to what it is you actually want or need. And I think they're still going to be making stuff like this for vloggers. Sure, some vloggers are going to move to phones, some of them are going to move to like GoPros or an Osmo whatever, which that thing changed its name too, and I can't think of what it changed to, but yeah, we're gonna see a lot of those changes happening. Austin, you think most of those influencers are already using iPhones? A lot of them are, but here's the thing, or rather, here is a thing about that. And this is going to sound like a weird point to make, but take YouTube, early YouTube. And I know this is definitely one of those things where there's no way to say this without kind of sounding old. But if you were to look back to the days of YouTube in the 2000 aughts, like 2007 YouTube, what did it look like? What did you see if you went on YouTube in 2007? You saw a whole bunch of people who everything they filmed, everything they shot, all the anything that resembled vlogging, or even a lot of the stuff that was, we'll call it produced, it was home video level. I mean, it was done on slightly nicer cameras, maybe, but it all looked like home video. Over the years, it has progressively gotten better, and with good reason. I mean, it's not hard to see how and why, but at a certain point, all of those channels that were producing low quality stuff started saying, hey, we got to get better cameras in here. And slowly but surely, those channels started getting bigger and more relevant. And the channels that didn't upgrade, eventually they started losing. Not all of them. Obviously, some persist even today. Some of them disappeared not because of cameras and drop in viewers, but the thing is, if you go on YouTube today, look at all the most popular things. If it's not something that just happened to go viral, there's a very good chance it was filmed on a camera more expensive than this one. I mean, and this is technically a pro camera. So, you know, it is a thing. And that happened on YouTube, but give it a few more years. What happens when, or well, I shouldn't even say what happens when, it has already happened. Some of the most successful channels on TikTok are already using DSLRs, or well, anything in the compact mirrorless DSLR, whatever. They're using a camera that's in that classification. Interchangeable lens cameras. They're filming stuff on high quality gear, and they're editing in real editing apps and posting TikToks. TikToks are not just a bunch of people posting their cell phone footage. It's a lot of it, but give it, I don't know, give it 5 years. I would be shocked, genuinely shocked, if in 5 years people are not shooting TikToks on way better stuff. And it won't be all of them. It'll never be all of them, just like it has never been all of them on YouTube, but it will be a lot. And it will be a lot of the most successful ones. And give it a few years, you'll probably see, I don't know, well, the name that keeps coming to mind, I just keep wanting to say Logan Paul. I know Logan Paul shoots all this stuff on a really expensive camera. And love him or hate him, you should hate him. Just go straight to hate. It's okay. The fact is, he's making money off of it. And I know that a lot of the other people who are big on TikTok and Instagram, they're using good cameras. Half of them have an actual video team now. Oh, Austin. Oh, Austin, no. Do not say these words. They hurt. Oh, no. Come on. He won't be president. He'll be... He won't even run for president. He will be running for Supreme Dictator. Supreme High Lord. Like when he registers, he will demand that they don't even put presidential candidate on the form. It will be a demand that they rewrite it to all high Trump. He's running for all high Trump, which pretty much means he is that high. Anyway, no. So but getting back onto some semblance of the point, I think camera companies are still going to be around. They're still going to be making stuff, but they're going to be targeting a different audience. Which, to be fair, we're also seeing that from the other end. You guys might remember the gimbal review that I did. Let's see. Gimbal review. I'll just search for gimbal review. Yeah. So the review that I did for the Smooth Q3. Wait, no, was this the right one? No, it isn't. No, it was the... Oh, did I not link them? I swear I did. Were the links possibly broken? Or removed? Because I would have put them down in the bottom. Or I would have mentioned them up here. Really? Oh, okay. Here's the review of the XS. Okay, so pulling that up, and now the thing that made the XS, or the X and the XS, from GeoWin, the thing that made them interesting is that they had these telescoping arms. Which, hey, you know, neat feature, really cool. If you didn't notice today's news, DJI just launched the exact same feature. The OM5 has this exact thing. The design is ever so slightly different, but yeah. They have a telescoping wand built right into the handle, and so you can extend this out. Who is this for? Yes, it obviously is for, you know, wannabe filmmakers and stuff like that, but honestly, it's for vloggers. I mean, gimbals were already kind of for vloggers, but now, holy crap, this is it. Like, they're targeting that audience. There's no honestly, like, don't get me wrong, it is a good gimbal no matter what, the OM5 is, but without question, this is one of those things that I'm just gonna move it like that. I don't know why, but having my head floating over his his junk or over his butt just seemed like an unnecessary thing. So I can now be here. At worst case scenario, I'm getting crop dusted. Anyway, the thing is though, this guy, this gimbal, it's going to do really well because it favors vloggers very specifically. You know, and let's see, I also picked out that picture because this was the most elegant way I could fit the two pretty girls in their video in without it making it obvious that I was fitting in the pretty girls. And it actually shows off the gimbal better than any of the other shots of those two. But, you know, there is an obvious crowd to this. People want this, and it's for vlogging. And that, I guarantee, is the audience that 100% will be buying this gimbal. Obviously, they won't make up 100% of the sales, but they're going to be huge. And it's because there are vloggers out there that want to either switch to using or start using an iPhone. And it's the cheap way to start. It's the good way to start. That being said, I don't have it next to me, but that being said, you know what company is also making pretty good sales from what I've heard? Let's see, is this going to take me to the right place? It is not. They don't own their own. Oh man, they couldn't even get. That sucks. Okay. This company is killing it right now because they made a handle for DSLR cameras so you could use it for convenient vlogging. I mean, it's a tripod that folds up into a handle. Like, this is doing really well. There's no denying it. This is a successful product, and all things considered, like, that wouldn't be happening if there wasn't. I'm making a bold assertion about TikTokers caring about video quality. I see the sarcasms, but I'm going to take that as a serious comment or a serious mock for a second. I'm sure that a lot of them don't right now. Like, absolutely a lot of people don't. But they will. And they're going to because someday someone's going to. You know, you can see it in literally every industry. I'll just use the obvious example that has been. I got to get this off the screen because that motion is just too distracting. But you can see it in. I apologize for constantly making this such an easy thing to bring up, but cam girls. Half of them are now getting like people to help them run their streams, like moving the camera around for them, or they're at least buying better cameras than just a webcam. Like, there was a time every single one of them would have owned a webcam that cost $80, if that. Now, I'd be surprised if any of, well, I'm sure some of them are using cheap webcams, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if many of them are using like $500 and higher cameras. Probably way, way higher. DSLR portrait mode for TikTok. Landscape mode, portrait mode. And that seems like a joke. It actually kind of isn't. This big boy gimbal that I've had for a while, that I still need to do a little bit more with for a video that I have been trying to work on. This thing was actually designed very intentionally so that you just stick on, or you basically can make one adjustment and it can be used vertically or horizontally. Like, it is designed to be as easy as possible to do that. That was one of their things in the marketing, was to make this support that. So, you know, they're doing it. It's definitely a thing. And we are going to see more of it. I mean, at the time it was more of a talk for Instagram, but it makes sense for TikTok and just about everywhere else. So yeah, honestly, like, I do agree with what you're saying. I think for regular photography purposes, dedicated cameras are done. Not immediately, but they will be. It's not long before it happens. But in a few years, you know, cell phones are going to eat more of the camera market. Except I think the camera market is going to grow a different direction. It's kind of like this is going to be the weirdest way to describe it, but it's kind of like San Francisco. There was a time when San Francisco was a 7 by 7 square, well, 7 mile by 7 miles square. It's bigger than that now. San Francisco has grown, and it's because of landfills. They've added land to San Francisco because they couldn't grow in any other direction, so they started growing into the water. It worked. You know, at a certain point, they needed to create their own land, so to speak. That's what the camera companies are going to do. Except they don't have to create the land. The land is there. It's literally asking them to be there for them. They just have to provide the products for it. You'd like to see more circular sensors for video, especially with more and more aspect ratios on screen. Why circular sensors? I mean, the argument for circular sensors is basically that you're wasting pixels on the side, but who cares? I'm not really sure that there's the one argument I can see for having circular sensors, the other argument is it could allow you to make smaller cameras so that only the barest minimum size is accounted for, but all you're talking about is shaving off some edges. And honestly, I don't know that you gain enough. David Lama, feel like the camera companies are not very ahead of the game. No, they were caught flat-footed. Absolutely, they were definitely caught flat-footed. If we go back to, say, 2012, 2013, 2014. In fact, most of the camera companies, I would even argue, have been caught flat-footed multiple times. So if you go back even further, if you go back to like 2000, or in that general time frame, at that stage, you had digital cameras out there, but all the professionals were still using film. So they all shot film. It was the big thing to do. And a few of them started tinkering with digital. Digital then started taking over faster and faster. And all the film companies just did not see this coming. They did not account for it. Only a few of them even survived. In truth, most of them died, and their brand name just kind of went off into weird reuse on cheap garbage products. Go buy something with the name Kodak on it. It's trash. It's garbage. They're just borrowing the name. Same goes for Polaroid. These are not good products to get because they're just reusing the names. Some companies handled it really well, or they took a hit, like Fuji. Fuji took a big hit. I mean, absolutely got demolished by the fact that their film business just went to hell. And the company was somewhat adaptable, and they had a lot of money, so they survived. They did come back, but Fuji took a really big hit for a number of years. And fortunately, because of kind of fandom over film and kind of various multiple minor resurgences in film fandom, kind of kept Fuji alive. Or Fuji's film business was kind of kept alive by this, but I wouldn't say that that's a good thing for them. Anyway, now getting back again to the 2012-ish territory, you had all these DSLR cameras that were massively successful. At the time, there was the big two. It was Canon and Nikon. That's it. Those two dominated everything. No one talked about any other cameras. And Sony comes along and says, hey, we kind of dig this mirrorless thing. We're going to try mirrorless. So they came out with a few cameras. They did okay. They had a lot of problems, particularly battery life. Like, it's horrible battery life by comparison. And so, Sony suffered through it, but they kept working on it, developing their technology, building better and better cameras. And at a certain point, people started recognizing, hey, these are actually good. We like what we're seeing here. And Sony's doing some interesting things that really can't be done on DSLRs. And that shifted the market. Now people had a reason to be getting these other cameras. And again, Canon and Nikon caught flat-footed. I mean, they caught the film industry flat-footed. Now they were getting caught flat-footed because they didn't have anything to counter mirrorless cameras that could do some of the neater features. So they had to adapt too. We just keep seeing this. This is a pattern. Every company that is successful in the market eventually gets caught flat-footed because they did not see, hey, here's that next big thing and we need to be on it. So Canon and Nikon both had money. They both eventually turned around and did mirrorless cameras. Nikon still hasn't really recovered from that hit. Canon has recovered fantastically. But yeah, Sony just rode that wave from obscurity into dominance. And now Sony is one of, infamously, the big three, which really should just be the big two now. And I expect it's going to happen again. I just don't know with what. But, to David's comment that the camera companies aren't ahead of the game, I'm sure that's really about software. Google and Apple, and to a lesser degree other companies, they've really destroyed the software game. They're doing so much with crappy camera sensors and small lenses that the big camera companies are having trouble keeping up. But that's the thing. Either give it time or wait until some of these big camera companies can start partnering up or teaming up with the software companies. I don't think it's going to be that... Nope. We're hiding that before that pops into view. That was not supposed to open. But give it a little time, and the software companies, I think, are going to start partnering up with the DSLR companies in some way. Maybe not like straight partnerships, but maybe licensing out some technology or something. Give it a little bit of time, and I bet we're going to see a lot of this stuff showing up on Sony, Canon, Fuji, all the big companies, because they need to. They need to have these really cool, intelligent features happening right on the camera and improving the photo quality. Once they have that, forget it. Like, they're going to be back in the game big time. We need to take down big camera. Nice. Google, we partnered with Idaho Potatoes. Stop talking about the Sony IMX sensor. That's harsh. It's fair, but it's harsh. Anyway, okay, getting back to earlier comments. Austin, you had the Snapchat spectacles. The circular video was awesome. Now that foldables and rollables are inevitable, I think that circular sensors would make for better fitting video. Still not really sure what that means. Can't stress enough how bad video is when how bad video is in the Fold 3. Unless you zoom in on what you're watching, the screen real estate is not good. Oh, I see. Yeah, I've heard that. I feel like this generation of folding phones is, the more I hear about them, I do think that this is still a little too early to market. Not a lot. This is on the edge where enthusiasts can really get and enjoy the phone without babying it. But I feel like this was the generation where they're going to cut the corners to try to hit price points. And it's still a rushed product. Or not a rushed product, but a premature product. So, good for them. I'm glad they got him out. But man, I just keep hearing one complaint after another about the folding phones, and it's like, yep, I think they needed, or I think another year, maybe 2, is the right point for the normal person to start thinking about getting a folding phone. But probably not this year. This year, it's still an enthusiast device. Which, seeing how many people bought folding phones this year, we'll see what happens. Speaking of folding Pixel win, gotta have it. Yeah, anyway, so what else was there to say? Oh, I guess I could have been on this view this whole time. Oh, and really quick, I did want to look, because I saw there was a comment on the DJI post. Someone asking, I'll switch back for this, just because mildly funny. Does DJI's Android app for their gimbals still work like garbage? Last time I checked, it refused to record in anything higher than 1080 resolution, even on, well, there you go. Even on late model Samsung devices. DJI told many people complaining on their support forum that if they wanted a fully functional software experience, they needed to buy an iPhone. So to my knowledge, that's still a Samsung specific bug. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to check, but I think Samsung phones would not allow 4K for third-party apps, but they would only do it in their own camera app. Meanwhile, other phone cameras that had 4K, you could actually use the app. I'd have to check, but I think that was the case. That being said, DJI does really, like, as a company, its support lines kind of do fanboy over iPhones. Austin, you would think that we would see something in Android 12 related to multi-window by now. I agree-ish, but I don't know. We've already seen multi-window stuff years ago, and I really do think that they were just putting that there for support purposes. With the folding phones, I don't think multi-window really makes a ton of sense. I think split screen makes sense. And for split screen, you don't need all the same features. On tablets, I can see having floating windows. Multi-window makes sense on tablets, so does split screen. But on phones, it really doesn't. And I feel like Google still doesn't care about anything but phones with Android. Obviously, like, also TVs and supposedly tablets, but not really. So, yeah, we'll see. As time goes by, I think that's going to be forced to shift. But it's also possible Google just has no intention of ever really bringing Android to the desktop. Too tough to tell at this stage. Austin, pretty skeptical about a Pixel Fold at this point, unless we get a 0.1 Android 12 update for foldables. So I'm just going to say it. I'm mostly certain we will not see a Pixel Fold anytime before next year. And when I should actually say anytime in the next year, because I think it'll be about a year between now and when a Pixel Fold is even plausible. I don't think we're going to see one anywhere during the rest of anywhere during the rest of 2021, and nowhere in the first half of 2022. I mean, maybe leaks, but I don't think we're going to see a phone launched. It just doesn't make sense. For one, it's honestly too late in the year for it to possibly show up this year. And I think realistically, it's just not going to happen next year until later. And that's assuming it happens next year. Even that feels like a stretch. Okay, so we are closing in on 5 o'clock, which also goes well past my 15-minute warning, meaning the world has not ended yet and will not for at least another week. I should really stop saying that. I feel like I'm starting to jinx it. You're hoping CES 2022 Fold plus Pixel Watch. Watch, I believe. Fold, I do not. I do believe Google's working on one. I absolutely believe that they're probably partnering with Samsung to do it. I have so many doubts that they're actually moving on it quickly enough, though, because as much as the Pixel development team does not seem to necessarily do the customizations that they should, I think they're doing enough. And because of that, I feel like they probably have to go through a lot more customizing and fixing and cleaning up to get that folding experience working right. At this point, just end the world. I should give my 15-minute warning and just close immediately after. Like, hey everyone, I think about 15 minutes and we're gonna wrap it up in stream right there. Now, somehow I have a feeling if the world ends, I'm actually going to be sitting in front of this mic speaking when it does. Which feels very much like that scene from Titanic with the stringed instrument players. The string quartet. Was it a quartet or a trio? Anyway, yeah, I'll be like them. I'll be playing it out as the world goes up in flames. And we didn't just go super dark with that. Not at all. Anyway. So, yeah, I think I am going to wrap it up because I'm hot. I'm ready to hang it up. And besides, I probably... Oh, actually, let's see. Really quick look. Oh, there it is. Oh, no follow-up emails for that. That's annoying. And nothing there. Oh, that sucks super hard. I was waiting for an email that still has not come. I'm going to have to do some yelling at people real soon. Anyway, that's a separate issue. But with that, thanks everyone for joining the chat, hanging out, being part of the conversation, talking with me, keeping me rambling. Thanks again to those who have contributed to the channel. Diablo, Austin, just a couple of days ago. Thanks to you guys for doing what you do. I will be back this weekend for game streams. Of course, I sincerely really am going to try to actually squeeze in a random extra stream for photo edits. Hopefully tomorrow. I'm gonna try really hard because I want to get those photo edits done. Two, I want to get that review stamped and out the door as quick as I can because I've got a new one I need to write really quick, and I've got the next review thing coming hopefully in the next few days. So yeah, there will be a lot of stuff like that happening. And being what it is, I also am hopefully going to have new review or new photo streams or photo edit streams happening actually fairly regularly if I can get this workflow kind of streamlined at least a little bit. But yeah, so anyway, with that, I believe I will see all of you hopefully in the next few days, and some of you for game streams, of course. And trying to think if there was anything else. I can't think of anything else, so I'm just gonna say